Hello and welcome to the ISCA, and we are happy to be back. It has been, of course, a week since we've last had some competition here in this lovely series. Of course, we did race last week. Definitely had some fantastic action there at Talladega, but tonight we are at Legacy, Michigan, the old scan for this racetrack. Of course, this 2.1 or 2.0 mile super speedway, I guess you could call it, is going to feature some really exciting racing here tonight. Of course, my name is Brian Britt, and joining the booth by Big Al. How are you doing this evening?
Doing outstanding, Brian. Ready to get this party started. Like you said, we been off for a little bit, man, and it's about time to get back into that race rhythm if you can.
Yeah, it definitely is for sure. And got a nice sponsor on tonight's broadcast. Of course, Team Watson Racing Setups came on board here for tonight's race for the Team Watson Racing.com 200. So let's actually take a look at the race facts for tonight's race, Big Al. Taking a look at it here, we got, of course, a 200-mile race. Of course, it does a little bit of a typo there. It says AutoZone 200. It's actually the Team Watson Racing.com 200. So 100 laps here tonight, I do believe. Stages 18 and 45. So not too long of runs, but this is a large track. Tire wear is going to be ever present. And, of course, the race ends, on 101. Barring, of course, we have a green-white checkered. 5 sets of tires, 4 actually down in the pits. Fuel window, 36 laps. Of course, this is a 75% fuel tank here these guys use, and the actual officials, it's more around 45. So that shortens it up a little bit, but that also, Big Al, as we always talk about, affects the handling of these race cars.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys are going to definitely going to have to take that into consideration. Is man, some of these guys have probably been out of the seat for a while. Though I do believe a lot of guys have actually been actively participating. We just have to see how 2023 holds for us, Brian. If we have as many or more or less cautions than we did in the year previous.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to wait for sure. Of course, new year, new opportunities for these guys. I do believe this is the 4th race of the season, so excited to see what these guys have in store for us. So let's take a look at the points, speaking of 4th race in the season. Josh Schaffner right now at the top of the board with 1 win, 146 points, actually tied with Greg Wychinski for that first place position. Because Greg, I do believe, last week won the Thursday race, Big Al. Kenny Powell, of course, sitting in 3rd place. Al Kozlowski 4th. Derek Heitman with 1 win in 5th. Don Avery 6th place. Wes Dobbs in 7th. 8th place, Randy Mullins. 9th place, J.C. Evans. And 10th, Darren Mullins. So curious to see what these guys are going to be able to break out for us here tonight at Michigan. I mean, this is going to be a tricky one, all about tire conservation, but you also don't want to get past or lose the draft.
Yeah, both of those two things are going to be very important, Brian. It's going to be where you're running at in this track and you know, how well you're going to conserve your tires. Some of these guys are probably going to want to go a little bit harder than others. When this first stage comes out, though, got to give them the best opportunity to actually see how these tires are going to actually hold up.
Yeah, 100% as we watch Don Avery in the midst of qualifying right now. Randy Mullins at the top of the board at the present moment. Derek Heitman just shooting up to 3rd place. Matt DeCiani was fastest in practice. Looks like he is right now quickest in qualifying. Look at that. I've been watching a lot of the AA Opens this week, just kind of just looking and seeing what to kind of expect. And Matt DeCiani's definitely been one of the fast ones. A lot of these other guys have definitely been very much present in the officials. I've seen Don Avery quite a bit out there, Derek Heitman. So can't wait to see, all of this kind of come to head. I mean, like you said before, they've been practicing a lot in the officials. But definitely looking forward to it, see what we got here. Of course, like we said before, this is the legacy scan. It does have a little bit more bumps to it, if I'm not mistaken, for sure. And a lot of guys this week have been complaining about getting loose off of turn 4 and even possibly turn 2. I know that wall comes up quick there in turn 2. But definitely a very wide racetrack, that is for sure. Enough room to do 2, 3, sometimes even 4 wide out here, Big Al. Don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things you'll probably see that tonight is these guys probably trust each other a whole lot more than you'll see in some other leagues. Sorry, I'm distracted trying to get my screens all set up here.
Well, taking a
That
look
way,
at the track facts here, or weather, would you like to talk about that, Big Al?
yeah, we can talk about the weather. As a matter of fact, looks like the weather is going to be 81 degrees with 97 degrees on that track temperature. Winds out of the west at 8 miles an hour.
Partly cloudy, of course. So I have to wait and see how that changes as the race goes on. When it's partly cloudy, that can shade some of the racetrack. This isn't the biggest track in NASCAR, but it's one of them. But let's go
Yeah,
ahead and take that.
absolutely.
Sorry, Big Al, didn't mean to interrupt you there. I was just going to go ahead and play that national anthem. We'll be right back, and we'll hear plenty more of the stylings of Big Al and Brian Britt here in just a moment as we read the grid off. We'll be right back.
Oh, say, can't you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
Or there, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so comfortable, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we got the grid set here for this evening's action. Matt DeCiani, of course, going to be qualifying on the pole, and Randy Mullins in second place. Third place going to be Derek Heitman with Mark Sanchez in fourth place. Fifth place, Darren Mullins, with sixth place being Wes Dobbs. Seventh place, Greg Wychinski. Don Avery starting eighth. Ninth place, Al Kozlowski and Greg Carr, rounding out our 10-car field.
That's going to put Josh Schaffner in 11th with Andrew Layton in 12th, J.C. Evans in 13th with Kenny Powell alongside him in 14th. Last row is going to be Jeffrey Souza and Derek Jacobs. That's going to round out this 16-car field, a little bit smaller, but we are just getting going. So hopefully we'll get some of these drivers back here to make this field a little bit bigger. But I think 16 is a pretty good number here at Michigan, Brian. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely do for sure. I think it's going to be a good race for sure. 16, I think, is perfect. It's just enough to get some 3 wide, maybe even some 4 wide action. I know these guys all race each other with respect. It's going to be some nice, clean racing here as we prepare ourselves for the green flag. Of course, Matt DeCiani going to be in control of the start here. But one thing that's different about this racetrack, though, Big Al, there is no restart zone here.
Yeah, and I think that's probably going to play out into Matt DeCiani's favor to actually just be able to kind of grin it and go whenever he's really ready.
And there it is. He waits until, of course, the green flag actually comes out. Big pushes from Derek Heitman, giving him some really good pushes to try to see if he can't secure this lead early. Randy Mullins, topside, did not get as good of a launch. It looks like Mullins is starting to work his way a little bit more forward here. We've seen a lot of speed out of that 54, and also his father, Darren Mullins, right underneath him.
You know, and this is the problem everybody's going to have to watch out for, this backstretch right here, Brian, because this is where those cars are going to start to get a little bit loose. And then also going into turn 3, you got to bend them around there. Well, drivers are going to be able to actually probably keep the throttle down mostly for the first couple of laps, hoping that you'll actually be able to hook up going into turns 1 and 2. Matt DeCiani is hooked up, and he is your leader. Derek Heitman pulling along beside him in the P2.
100% side-by-side racing going on here between Wes Dobbs and Josh Schaffner. That is for 7th and 8th right now. Al Kozlowski watching on, going to try to get underneath the 72 as well. The 72 up into the outside wall, out on the exit too. That is what we're going to be looking for that all night long here. Very easy to overdrive at this place.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is going to cause that whole field to kind of fan out.
You see Jeffrey Souza starting to work his way up here in that 14 machine.
As Schaffner and Wachinski both are going to be splitting. Looks like that's going to be Sanchez.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez sitting in the middle there. Tell you what's really surprising to see at Michigan, that we saw at Talladega, you can kind of push guys around this place. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some teammates maybe lining up, trying to work together.
Yeah, and I think pretty much once we get a little bit later on into the run, you're also going to see drivers kind of fanning out a little bit, maybe trying to break that draft.
Yeah, 100%. This is definitely a track where you want to try to break that draft. You're going to see guys probably going side to side, trying to control, almost like a super speedway, where you try to control, the different lines. Give the top line a run. Give the bottom line a run. Try to maintain both, almost like a Pied Piper situation. But here comes almost another 3-wide condition as Al Kozlowski thinks about going underneath Josh Schaffner there, but decides against it. Looks like he is side-by-side, though, with Wachinski.
Wachinski going to go ahead and pick up behind Schaffner. He is going to be side-by-side with Kozlowski.
Also Don Avery coming into the picture, trying to get around Mark Sanchez. But Josh Schaffner looks like he has worked his way up into 5th place. Also, Darren Mullins has gotten by his son, Randy Mullins.
Yeah, Sanchez last lap, it's actually his fastest so far here tonight at a 40.257. So just when I thought he was kind of falling off the pace, I think he's starting to catch himself and get his legs underneath him.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is just trying to be easy on the car. I mean, it's so easy to fall into that trap here at Michigan, to drive the car hard and burn the equipment up. And, if you're just kind of a little bit more patient on the throttle and stuff like that, let the corners roll a little bit more, you're going to last a whole lot longer than the rest of them. I think that might be what Sanchez is maybe all about right now.
And you know what, too, Brian? Just to mention, Derek Jacobs is well off the pace. That's probably going to cause him a little bit of headache and heartache for the rest of the guys, as they're slowly going to be catching him. You'll see him as now the leader. Matt DeCiani is going to be right there on the same straight with him. Not sure whatever happened. Maybe started in the pits, didn't get a good start. But now lap traffic's going to come into this thing, and it's going to show up earlier than it would have showed up had we this is just going to be a lot earlier in the run, I think.
100%. I mean, I'm shocked that he's already finding himself some 33, 34 seconds back here from the leader, and that's a lot of time right there. I mean, of course, these guys right now hitting 40-second laps. As we are seeing that Matt DeCiani and Derek Heitman are starting to get caught here by Darren Mullins and Randy Mullins. Also, Al Kozlowski has taken over 5th.
And he's got to be feeling pretty good about that as well, as he started all the way back in 9th place. And that's actually going to put him as one of our biggest movers so far here tonight.
Very much is.
Josh Schaffner. Schaffner started back in 11th. He finds himself up in 6th. So those two teammates definitely running well together here, making moves when it's time to make moves, looks like.
100%. I think the trend is definitely still set, though. That, here lately, the last few races we've seen guys that are up in the top 10 that we don't expect to see up there. And I hate to say it, not in a mean-spirited way, but, I mean, it just seems like we're seeing a whole lot of growth from a lot of these drivers that are starting to show up. And even other teams are starting to form to battle with these Triad guys and the EPI guys and the G&G guys.
Yeah, new year, new tunes, man. And a lot of, like you said, we've got a lot of new teams that are emerging, and that's making this racing a lot more exciting, not just for us, but it's making it a lot more competitive for the guys that are down there on the track. And we're not seeing those days where the G&G guys kind of dominated or one team dominated in particular. Now when you show up to these races on Thursday night, I mean, it really could be any team shot at it.
100%. Al Kozlowski is now caught up to the back end of Randy Mullins. Gets a little bit of loose condition there, and that's going to be something we're going to see a lot of too as well. The more dirty air you have to deal with, the worse that car is going to handle, especially in the corners. It's going to help you in the straightaways. It's going to hurt you in the corners, though.
Yeah, and then we can definitely start to see these guys starting to have that tire drop off. Now everybody is running laps that are greater than 40 seconds. They're all running 40-second laps plus, except for Derek Jacobs. I do believe he is the only driver that's in a 41-second range. But that has a lot to do with, the fact that he does not have the draft or anyone to draft with. But that's going to change here real quick, Brian, as that lead pack is slowly catching up to him. Matt DeCiani doing an excellent job here, and Derek Heitman staying right with him. These two aren't really racy just yet. We're still about halfway through, just about 8 laps left in this stage. And I think once we're about 5 to go, that's probably when it'll change up a little bit.
100%. We see side-by-side action between Don Avery and Greg Wachinski right now. 7th and 8th battling it out as Don Avery trying to work his way up through the field. Avery's got a lot of speed on him, and that's not a surprise in that Triad machine. Glad to see Jeffrey Souza out here as well. He's trying to work his way up, has entered the top 10. Haven't seen a whole lot of Kenny Powell here tonight, but I guess I will tell you he is making moves. 40.2 last time by was the fastest lap on the track, and that was him.
Yeah, Powell started all the way back in 14th, has made his way all the way up into the top 10 for the first time here tonight. So you definitely can tell that he is a man on a mission as well as these drivers slowly. Now it looks like Schaffner giving a shove. Oh, Schaffner was giving a shove to Kozlowski, and then he got shoved by Avery, and that's going to put him into the wall.
No.
Kenny Powell makes contact as well.
Caution is going to come out
for the first time, and definitely don't think Schaffner is going to fare too well from that one.
Tell you what, who's not going to fare even more? Probably Kenny Powell. Heck of a hit to his front end on that G&G 24. Let's take a look back at this accident.
Schaffner, the only one receiving that repairs needed flag. But you're going to see Schaffner comes right up, and he was almost pushing Kozlowski, giving him a good shove. And about the time that he kind of went to break the draft, Don Avery just kind of gave him a shove himself, and unfortunately Schaffner never recovered.
100%. I'm going to take a look back at this accident now. You see Avery starting to enter the picture. Al Kozlowski checked up by Randy Mullins and doesn't get a good run. It gets a little tight on the exit there for Al Kozlowski, and this is kind of when it all starts to break down. You see, like you said, Schaffner comes up, gives him a little bit of a push there to get Al going back, and there goes Avery just right into the left rear. And unfortunately, I mean, Schaffner almost had it saved. Man, but look at the contact from Kenny Powell there. Wow.
Yeah, that right rear tire is definitely going to be knocked out of sorts. But like I said, luckily for Powell, he did not to get the required repairs flag, so that's going to work out in his favor. He should be able to come down and get maybe some of that damage repaired, but Schaffner is definitely going to have to go behind the wall at least for about 8 minutes or so. Maybe, hopefully, it's not as significant. He can get it done and get back out there in 5, but I definitely do believe that his chances of winning this thing or placing good tonight are probably slim to none. And, Slim just left.
You hate to see that. I mean, man, that's just unfortunate. Almost had that saved. And, Schaffner always in contention to win a race. So there's one down, a little bit less competition for the rest of these guys. Got to be probably a little bit of a sigh of relief because I know if I was on the racetrack and Schaffner was still out there and fast, I would always be looking in my rearview mirror because he usually comes out of nowhere,
Yeah, and speaking of which, a lot of work going on down there on pit road. The 72's down, the 9 is down, as well as the 27. So Derek Jacobs electing the pit early, as well as the 9 of J.C. Evans, as well as the 72 of Wes Dobbs. These pit stops, were not scheduled, so it's just going to be interesting to see how it plays out for these guys in their favor because I'm going to make the assumption that they will not be pitting at the stage break.
And that's a really interesting call. I like the call there. I think that could be a valid strategy just to get some track position and maybe not some stage points, but maybe set them up for some stage points in stage 2 possibly because we've talked about it so many times about how important these stage points really are. Now, of course, we will still race this thing out till the end, but those guys that just pitted, they might even get some stage points for stage 1, just depending on how much faster they are. I mean, the fall off was starting to really hinder a lot of these drivers, wouldn't you say, Big Al?
I know if you do the math, Brian, I think you might be onto something because these guys are going to be at least a second and a half faster than the rest of the crew. And Michigan, this is one of those tracks where it's not extremely difficult to pass. So I definitely think that the fresh tires are going to mix it up a lot a bit.
Yeah, and also it's not very hard to pass, but it also could be difficult to wade your way through traffic, just considering it's almost like running through a minefield when you got these guys starting on this old tires. I've talked about I've seen some of the officials this week. Well, some of the officials I've seen, when guys start on older tires, they spin them on the start. And we've seen that go wrong before plenty of times in the ISCA.
Yeah, absolutely. And no one, I think, is really exempt from that. But the big thing here, though, for those guys that did actually go in and get fresh rubber, you said getting through the field is going to be a pack. Well, it is. Another thing, though, is the 24 Powell is going to be tucked in there somewhere, Brian, and you got to keep that in consideration because he did deliver a heck of a blow to Josh Schaffner. So I'm just wondering if that old 24 camera can even get up to operating speed.
No, that's a very good question. I mean, it had to have altered the front end at some point. Something up there has got to be somewhat busted, whether that be the radiator or, something. I mean,
and that's going to make it intense because Powell is right there, and he has Wes Dobbs right behind him. So, here we go. Once that green flag waves, man, all bets are off, and we just got to see how this thing unshakes itself.
It should be a 3-lap shootout here to determine the winner of stage number 1. Green flag is back out in the air. Matt DeCiani up through the gears. I guarantee you that Eric Heitman and him are in the same channel right now talking to one another, and I'm pretty sure that they counted them off there, but 3 wide, almost 4.
Further back, and 3 wide again as everybody is starting to kind of fan out a little bit. Greg Wachinski finds himself down low, and here comes one of the Mullins brothers high. He's got Kenny Powell behind him. Powell obviously not showing any signs of wear from that contact that he made with Schaffner earlier. Going into turns 3 here.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that front end, it does not look that bad. But, I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, but the one thing about it, if it affected his toe or anything like that, it could cause problems when it comes to tire wear. But definitely the G&G guys pushing each other. 3 wide. Kenny Powell into the back end of Greg Wachinski a little bit there.
Well, that's one of those don't push the pusher scenarios. Is Wachinski was giving Keselowski the bumper. Now we're 3 wide right there. I think Mullins are going to be the two that are actually higher than them. Don Avery makes his way up into the top 5. He is now in 4th place making his run. Fresh Tires further back in the field. No one actually able to really make a march with that. Surprising to see.
Well, they probably see all the chaos going on in front of them. They're probably scared to.
Yeah, white flag will be out for the stage on this lap.
J.C. Evans also up into the top 10 right now. Verging on even maybe possibly getting into the top 5. That 9 machine looking very fast.
Looking chocolatey, delicious.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't mind some Oreos right now. Al Keselowski getting pretty loose there. It just looks like the G&G guys cannot get on the same page right now, Big Al.
Yeah, but Kenny Powell is doing pretty good, Brian. He's got himself all the way up now. Looks like he's going to be about 8th place.
Some contact. Don Avery and J.C. Evans contact there.
We're not
this
out
is
of
a bad
the woods
situation.
yet. And this is going to be for the stage.
Verging on 4 wide right now as we wait for the caution flag to fly.
That was intense.
Very much. Caution is still not out. Wrecking is still not good. It still could happen. Caution still not out. And there it is. Almost had an accident there coming to the checkered flag for the stage. But everybody's able to keep it together. There was a little bit of contact. Matt DeCiani, though, going to wrap up stage 1. Derek Heitman in 2nd place. Don Avery 3rd. J.C. Evans, I do believe, coming home in 4th. Randy Mullins 5th. Kenny Powell in 6th. Darren Mullins in, I do believe, 7th. And 8th place, Mark Sanchez. 9th place, Jeffrey Souza. And 10th place, Al Keselowski, as we wait for the numbers to update there. But with that, we'll go ahead and take a brief step away, and we'll come right back, and we'll talk to our Stage 1 winner. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
Dang.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and looks like J.C. Evans winning the race off pit road. I do believe that's what you were reacting to there, Big Al.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was reacting to. Sorry about that.
Do want to look at his pit stop time there. 10.2 in the box, Big Al. That's a 2-tire stop if I ever saw one.
Yeah, I think, he knew exactly what he needed to do in order to get out and get up front. So now, it looks like Matt DeCiani's in the booth.
All righty, we got him in the booth. Our Stage 1 winner, Matt. Definitely a dominant Stage 1. Led every lap there so far, and definitely had some help there from your teammate, Derek Heitman. How you feeling, man? Looks like that car's handling pretty well.
Yeah, the car's good. It's just, you got to be so careful with pace out front because you don't want to burn them off. Tires matter a lot this week.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that's the case for sure. I mean, how do you feel about that, being in clean air, or do you think it helps you or hurts you?
definitely helps you. The leader, you can really screw up the guys behind you by cutting across their wake and stuff and putting dirty airs on the nose. So it's huge here. It's really hard to pass here. It's unfortunate. It's essentially a one groove track. So I mean, clean air is really important.
You better tell all the guys that are behind you that it's a one groove track, because they sure aren't using it like one.
Hey, that's fine. They could use the third lane all they want. They could burn their stuff up. That's fine with me.
All right, well, definitely great job to you, man. Great congratulations on your Stage 1 win. Hopefully we'll see you a little bit later. Who can we get a quick shout-out to before we let you get back to it?
Yeah, thanks to you guys in the booth for calling these races, Kenny for putting on the league, and as always, thanks to DPI for giving us super fast setups every week.
All right, man. Well, good luck to you. Hopefully we'll see you a little bit later.
All right, thanks, guys.
That was Matt DeCiani, our Stage 1 winner. Stage 2 getting ready to be underway here, Big Al. Of course, this stage goes to lap 45 to 46. So a little bit of a longer stage. Curious to see how this is going to go. Looks like J.C. Evans, though. I'm curious to see how this is going to go with him starting on 2 tires. Could be interesting. Michigan is one of those tracks that you can get away with it for a few laps, but it's not something that lasts forever.
But I do believe Evans pitted, during that caution. So he was just placing the other 2 tires, and that's the reason why he actually did that to get up front. So be about a 3-lap differential on that. Now he's going to lead us to that restart zone.
And there it is. Green flag is back out in the air with J.C. Evans gassing it up through the gears. He's going to try to slide up in front of DeCiani, but DeCiani, nope, he's not able to get there. But here comes Don Avery.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the move that he wanted to make, though, but he is now going to be able to fight off Don Avery and continue his track to lead this thing.
Yeah, at least he might get some laps led, and I'll tell you, that's something to not knock when you're in the ISCA. It's so hard to lead laps in this series.
Don Avery, though, not having any parts of it, as he is now going to dive down to the inside and put that 11 in to win. Now, he is going to be your Stage 2 lap 1 leader, and that'll be the first different leader that we've had so far here tonight, Brian.
That is correct here, as we see side-by-side battling, though. Darren Mullins and I do believe Jeffrey Souza duking it out right now for that 5th-place position right behind Randy Mullins. Oh, almost a 3-wide condition as Al Kozlowski thinks about taking it underneath.
Yeah, right there. That's that part on that backstretch where we're going to be watching all night, especially coming off of turn 2.
Look at Al Kozlowski go. Dives it all the way down to the bottom. You don't see a lot of guys go down that low here at Michigan, just considering how loose it can get down there.
Well, you can bend it down there low once you're on fresh tires, but that is going to be the challenge for these drivers as we go through the evening, is trying to keep that car down low there, Brian, because they're going to want to start to push up. As these tires start to wear out, that's exactly what the condition these drivers are going to start to face. As Greg Wachinski now is going to be making a move. Looks like he is going to be getting by Andrew Layton. We hadn't mentioned Andrew Layton much at all this evening, as he also relinquishes a spot to the 24, Kenny Powell. Powell seems to have his damage repaired and back on the go. Speaking of which, looks like Josh Schaffner still behind the wall there, getting damage repaired on his 5-0 Chevrolet.
Hate to see that, too, because I know coming into this race, Josh Schaffner tied for the lead with Greg Wachinski in the points. I mean, that is going to be – that's definitely going to put a hurting on his chances to continue to, points leader here, as we see a lot of racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Mullins is side by side, and that's going to be with Mullins. And Souza also in the mix.
Oh, yeah, Jeffrey Souza right now side by side with Randy Mullins. Randy Mullins has been looking really good in that 54 as he gets a good launch off the corner. Oh, Souza into the wall a little bit there.
Yeah, that's not going to help his cause a lot. He's going to try to keep that 14 Souza Media machine off the wall and in the draft.
What a great job, though, for J.C. Evans being able to maintain third right now.
And that's exactly what I was getting ready to say, man. Kudos to J.C. Evans. He actually did get some front time last week, I do believe, but now actually seeing him up here running in third place, that's got to be making him feel pretty good.
100%. Al Kozlowski diving it deep into the corner underneath Darren Mullins, still trying to take that position away. Jeffrey Souza starting to really move forward to try to capitalize on and take third away. Curious what happened to Derek Heitman on that last pit stop. It seems like, he came in right behind Matt DeCiani and has fallen all the way back here till 11th place. He is definitely a cautionary tale about the dirty air. You don't want to be back here.
No, definitely. But, I'm sure Heitman has a plan. We'll just have to see. Hopefully it'll work out and he'll be able to capitalize on it.
100%. But Don Avery right now in the lead as Matt DeCiani he spoke about how important that clean air was. Well, now he's getting a taste of his own medicine in a lot of ways.
That makes me wonder. I wonder if Sherry tipped off Don about what he was saying, because if she did, that's going to be one of the things he'll know exactly what to do to kind of agitate those guys behind him. It's Al Kozlowski still keeping it low and down on the line.
Yeah, definitely some awesome work here as DeCiani starting to put some pressure on Don Avery, but Al Kozlowski continuing to go down to the bottom line. A lot of people say that burns your tires up more. I'm curious to see it. We've seen Al have been a lot better in that department when it comes to saving tires. I say it a lot. See also Kenny Powell and Greg Wychinski side by side a little bit further back, I do believe.
And one of the things that we didn't actually talk about, but it was Derek Jacobs. Derek Jacobs was in jeopardy of actually going a lap down on that last stage, but that caution actually gave him a lifeline. So now, the only guy that we are showing a lap down is Josh Schaffner.
Yeah, of course, Josh Schaffner being 18 laps down right now. Kenny Powell going to make the top side work, and it looks like he has gotten by Greg Wychinski and taken over that 10th place position. Andrew Layton looking like he's running pretty good here tonight. Mark Sanchez also, looking really good, sitting in 9th. Of course, Heitman, we talked about him being kind of in the weeds back there. He has fought his way back up into 8th now.
Yeah, but here comes Matt DeCiani. He is going to take the lead back over from Don Avery. And that is going to change everything, as J.C. Evans is still going to be able to hold third place. But look at the traffic stacking up behind these guys. Nowhere like it was in that first stage where that lead draft of 3 cars kind of had a breakaway. This time, they're actually being contained a lot more, Brian.
Yeah, they are. A little bit of a longer stage, and I think that might have something to do with it here as Jeffrey Souza under fire from Randy Mullins here. Mullins has just started running really quick here. Al Kozlowski also has moved up to the top groove and is starting to almost push Souza.
He really kind of sucked up into the back of Souza there, had to get out of the throttle there to keep from pushing them too much. These guys are side by side by side by side. There's Derek Heitman in the back there. He is starting to get his way, trying to charge back up to the front. He's be running side by side with the 24, Kenny Powell.
Yeah, Kenny Powell definitely, I feel like he has gotten probably a lucky horseshoe shoved up his backside here tonight, Big Al, just considering. The hit he had earlier, that should have been a race ender.
Yeah, just unfortunate for Schaffner.
100%.
It's also fortunate for Powell, though. But Matt DeCiani, though, got it in to win. Don Avery trying to everything he can to stay sucked up behind him. But J.C. Evans, once again, I want to give a shout-out to him for doing as well as he is here tonight. And Jeffrey Souza coming all the way back from 15th. Jeffrey Souza started, and now finding himself up into the 4th place position. Those guys got to be feeling pretty good tonight as well, Brian.
100%. Still a little bit of ways to go here in stage number 2, though. Of course, going to be concluding on lap 45. We're only on 43 right now, so that means I do believe soon to be 12 laps to go here in this stage. And everybody's still right on top of each other. A little contact there. Kenny Powell and Randy Mullins.
Yeah, Kenny Powell's definitely getting a run down the outside of Mullins. Mullins kind of came up a little bit, but here comes Derek Heitman. He's going to put himself back up here, trying to get into the top 5 as he is in 8th place, chasing Powell. Got the Mullins father and son combo right behind him as Randy and Darren both go side by side.
You also see Andrew Layton going side by side with Greg Wychinski as well. Mark Sanchez kind of watching and waiting for a lane to open up. Definitely some great racing. You see Wes Dobbs back there in 14th. I mean, look at the top 14. They're all fairly close to one another. Not a lot of spreading out going on except for Derek Jacobs, of course.
We're spreading out now. Looks like Mullins got a little bit off the pace there, and he is going to drop back. We'll see if Greg Carr is actually able to get by him as well. And I think that is going to be – that's Wes Dobbs right there actually is going to be able to squeak by him.
Yeah, it looks like Randy Mullins maybe got a little bit loose on the exit there. Seems like he's not having as easy of a time putting the power down. Now, this is a track where you do burn those rears off pretty quickly.
Well, speaking of burning the rears off, our main man, Josh Schaffner, is back onto the racing surface. So he is going to be back out there trying to get the go around again, seeing if maybe he can make up some points and positions.
Oh, wow, Kozlowski really loose. Has to shoot down to the apron.
Kenny Powell also kind of caught up in that. You were talking about that horseshoe. I think it just slung a boat or something.
Looks like they're going to be just fine, though, as Kenny Powell tries to get the momentum back. Al Kozlowski, I think he's burned his rear tires off. He's starting to look looser, almost as loose as Randy Mullins just looked. Probably looser.
16 laps, though. I mean, this is the longest stint that they had because, remember, they did have a caution earlier in that first stage to kind of break it up. So I think this is the longest that they've gone. And it is interesting to note that everybody out there is greater than 41 seconds, except with the exception of Jeffrey Souza. And he is the only one that's running a sub 41 second lap out there on the track right now. Him and Josh Schaffner. Schaffner actually running a 40.858.
Yeah, of course, he just came off of pit road. As we see Greg Wachinski starting to try to put something on Darren Mullins here to try to take over that 5th place position. And it looks like he might get it done. From what I've seen all week, the top is the place to pass. I mean, you can pass on the bottom, but it's very easy to slide up and get into those guys and get tight or get loose. But when you pass them on the top, you get much more of a run on the exit.
Yeah, definitely. That's my preferred method of passing at this track as well, is actually just trying to bend it around the top side because, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to restate what you said, but you're absolutely correct. Looks like that lead 3, though, starting to get a breakaway. That's going to be the trio of DeCiani, Avery, and Souza. They're actually now going to put a little bit of distance behind them, and guess who's in P4? Would you believe it? Derek Heitman has made his way all the way back up into the top 5.
Yeah, those EPI guys definitely seem like they brought a hot rod here tonight. Is Avery looking like he's starting to trend a little bit to the tight side? As looks like Susan might start to put some pressure on him here. No, here comes Avery, shoots it down in to 3 and 4, and he's going to try to go side by side with the 1. I think he was backing it up on purpose there to try to build a run.
Absolutely, backing up those turns to try to bend it through the curve, and that's exactly what he did. And look who was right behind him, shoving him every inch of the way. None other than the 9 car himself. Jeffrey Souza.
Yeah, Jeffrey Souza definitely pushing that 11 right up there into the lead. Of course, he was not able to get the pass completed himself. He's definitely going to be trying, though. Let's look at that. Don Avery trying to break the draft here. Not going to work, though.
Yeah, he's definitely going to looking to actually challenge DeCiani for the lead. And my mistake about J.C. Evans. J.C. Evans actually being scored all the way back in 12th place. So I think he's probably, felt the better of his tires thus far.
Yeah, it does seem like he probably burned them up a little bit too much here. Skinny Powell, even after his little issues earlier, has walked his way back up into 6th, but now is under pressure, under fire from Darren Mullins. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Andrew Layton as well. He's 9th place right now, looking really strong in that 84. A lot of strong drivers here. Still anybody's guess who's going to win this thing.
Yeah, hopefully Andrew can have himself a strong finish here tonight. The 88 of Al Kozlowski way off the pace. I mean, he is right now some 42.181 seconds. So I don't know what has happened to the 88 Speedway Angels car, but it has definitely seen better days, Brian.
That it has. We got a battle for 2nd place. Jeffrey Souza dives it in underneath the 1 of Matt DeCiani. Slide job imminent. It looks like he's going to slide right up and take that 2nd position.
Yeah, with just 4 laps to go in this stage, also interesting to note that Heitman and Wachinski are also doing everything they can to enter the party. They're doing, they're trying to reel in these top 3. Just not quite able to make it happen, but I think they're going to be able to get it done here before this stage is over.
Yeah, you see Greg Wachinski right now side by side with Derek Heitman trying to take over that 4th place position. He's got Kenny Powell starting to drive his way up to see what he can do to help out his G&G teammate. Also battling between Mark Sanchez and Greg Carr. Kenny Powell not going to help his teammate. He says, I'm going to pass you. This G&G guys, they do not work well together.
He's definitely looking for his own spot in the draft.
Of course, Wachinski, last week's winner.
Yeah, Wachinski jumps up and gets right up behind the 76 of Heitman. Further ahead, side by side, Jeffrey Souza still continues to battle Matt DeCiani. DeCiani down on the inside trying to make it work, but that's just allowing Don Avery the ability to really kind of drive off Brian. And with 2 to go in the stage, I mean, he might be chasing his first stage win here this year.
I think he's definitely getting ready to maybe get one. It's gonna be very hard to catch him at this point, considering he's about 7/10 out in front, still side by side for 2nd place. DeCiani.
Heitman doing everything he can. Sorry to block Wachinski. Almost got turned right there. I'm just going to say, I don't know if he was quite clear when he closed the door or not. Wachinski now going to be battling down on the inside. Powell is possibly going to be going high. Might have ourselves a wide situation.
Some bumping, definitely some beating and banging going on here. 3 wide as Kenny Powell goes through the middle.
It gets hard to make that turn here, Brian, when you got this many laps on your tires. As Wachinski having to back it off a little bit. He's backing that turn up to try to get a runoff. Powell pedaling it loose all the way through the turn. That's going to stack up Heitman. Now he finds himself desperate trying to find some air.
Definitely in somewhat of a G&G, almost like being, on the interstate when you're locked in between 2 18-wheelers.
Yeah, that air and those tires being worn as they were, you saw Powell doing everything he could to try to keep that car going straight.
Of course, caution should be coming out here anytime. The yellow flag is out.
Don Avery, your stage 2 winner, with Jeffrey Souza coming home in 2nd place. Matt DeCiani comes home in 3rd. Kenny Powell, P4. Greg Wachinski in 5th. Derek Heitman, 6th. Darren Mullins in 7th. Mark Sanchez, 8th. Andrew Layton, 9th. And Greg Carr rounds out those top 10 point span positions with stage 2 in the books and the caution flag waving. Let's go ahead and step away, get a brief word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. See if I can't dial up Don Avery, our stage 2 winner.
And we are back, and as you can see, green flag or yellow flag pit stops are going on right now. Greg Wachinski missing his box a little bit there.
Man, yeah, that's
taking tired.
Yep, Josh Schaffner though getting the benefit of getting a wave around is he was the only car that did not pit. So he will actually be able to get back to the back of the field, Brian, possibly. And, well, he got the lucky dog. So now he'll be actually able to pit.
Yeah, of course, he's still, I do believe, 20 laps down, so he's going to need a whole lot more wave rounds than that. But I think what he's hoping for is some guys to have some problems. And you see the race off of pit road there, almost a 3-wide race off.
Yeah, speaking of which, looks like we got Don Avery up in the broadcast booth. Don Avery, this is Big Al. Congratulations on your Stage 2 victory. Man, what did it take to get that done?
Well, it did need to take Rick and Josh. But, yeah, the car's pretty good this week. Been having some kind of success in A Opens. You know, it's just you get a lot of side-by-side car racing and you wear out your tires and stuff.
Yeah, so is tire wear, is that something that you're having to contend with out there tonight? Or, you know, so I guess that is it a big factor?
I mean, I was pretty much running as hard as I could there that whole stage, and I think Jeffrey helping me pass DeCiani there, that helped a lot. So I don't know. You know, our stages are going to be like 25-25 the rest of the race. So I think we can run the same type of pace and still have decent tire wear.
I think you just told us what your strategy was. Looks like they have already turned off the lights on the pace car. Got to let you get back to it before we let you go. Who you mini shouting out right here tonight?
I want to shout out to Triad Racing, especially this week. Jeff Barnes, he put in a ton of work on the setup. Jeffrey Sousa behind me there, and you guys up in the booth. My wife Sherry, hey Sherry, and Kenny for putting all this on.
All right, boss. Good luck to you, man. We're sitting up here watching. We'll be talking about you a lot, hey Sherry, too, and hopefully we'll see you at the end of the race.
Thanks, guys.
That was Don Avery, our Stage 2 winner. This just in, Greg Wachinski's a lap down.
Oh, no. Possibly, well, he is on pit road right now, so not sure what exactly is going on with that.
Yeah, definitely not good. Just considering how fast he was. Hopefully nothing, maybe a personal situation or something came up there. Well, here we go. Pace car getting ready to dip on down pit road, and he's going to lose yet another lap, I do believe.
Yep, pace car is down and away. Don Avery leading this field back, getting ready to take his green flag racing. Green flag is out. Avery wasting no time getting going. Matt DeCiani stacks up the high line. Derek Heitman looking for a way to get around him. No way to do. But here comes his Sousa Media teammate there at Triad, Jeffrey Sousa. He is also coming down on that inside line.
Yeah, here he comes Sousa right now, trying to see if he can't take that spot away from Matt DeCiani. He starts to get a little tight on the exit. Leaves just enough room. Also, Greg Carr doing a fantastic job right now, sitting in, I do believe, that 7th place position, following right behind Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, Jeff Carr actually picking up a very valuable stage point at the end of Stage 2 there, Brian.
Definitely going to be very valuable indeed. A lot of people say, you know, they prioritize those stage points rather than the actual race win itself, just considering, you know, you could have a bad finish, but as long as you do good in the stages, I mean, it can make up for it easily.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And looks like the 5 of Wachinski is back on the field as well, halfway back on the racetrack as well, halfway through this. But the field is encroaching upon him right now. Now, you know he is fast, but the question is, does he take his fastness and put it in front of Avery, or does he take his fastness and kind of let the field go and risk going another lap down? I don't know, Brian. We've talked about this numerous times. What do you think the call is for him?
For Greg Wachinski? I don't know. I mean, I think that he's not in the draft right now. All these guys are, so he's not going to be able to do a whole lot to really battle against these guys. I would try to be as inconvenient as I possibly, or as convenient as I possibly can, I should say, and try to get into the draft as soon as I can.
Yeah, we are definitely seeing a big shift here, man. Is once you get to the 11th place West Dobbs, man, then the field splits. Goes all the way back there a while back.
which is
No,
surprising.
that's not even true. That's inaccurate. This Keselowski is even a ways off the pack, so that puts the split all the way to 8th place. So what Greg Carr is in 7th place in the 25 car, there's a 2-second lead between him and Keselowski.
Yeah, that there is. I'm wondering if that's on purpose. Maybe these guys, maybe in effect, maybe save tire possibly. Because Randy Mullins was up here in the top 5 battling just a little bit ago, and he's back there in 14th right now.
You know, unless Keselowski totally, his setup is not where he wants it at, and the only way he can save face is just to go ahead and 75% it around this thing in order to make it to the 25 laps that he's going to need to split the stage. I mean, that could be a possibility, but that is just not a good seat to be sitting in right now, is it?
No, not at all. That's for sure. I mean, we did see him on the longer run start to struggle quite a bit. Curious to see if that's going to be something that's going to continue, or maybe he's making an effort to try to save that tire a little bit to not do what he kind of did earlier.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of wondering what's really going on. Like, what's the rest of the story?
Yeah, definitely not very sure at all. It's Don Avery right now out here in full force in the lead. He's got about 0.3 of a second on Derek Heitman. Heitman has definitely been a rocket here tonight, all the way up to 2nd right now with his teammate DeCiani right behind him. Side by side, though, Jeffrey Souza and Darren Mullins. Souza starting to struggle a little bit. I'm wondering possibly if he's saving tires.
Yeah, and, Avery doing exactly what he needs to do. He is trying to break that draft as much as possible. I think Matt DeCiani was onto something when we was talking about the benefit of clean air, because right now that's what Don Avery is sucking down, and he doesn't seem to be having any adverse effects as a result of that, Brian.
See, Mark Sanchez, I do believe, actually able to conquer Jeffrey Souza a little bit there, up into 5th place now.
Now I'm wondering, but I'm wondering how this is going to impact his run, because Jeffrey Souza had a very never mind. See, I'm thinking Souza started in 15th. He is running up here. I was thinking Sanchez. Sanchez had an excellent qualifying run, but he is now running in 5th place. And so I'm wondering if he has actually, figured out what caused him some woes, because he actually did kind of slide back quite a bit there through the first 2 stages. So now here we are in stage 3, man, and he seems to be running up consistently in the top 5. So maybe they made the adjustments, man, and got that car, because he was fast, super fast in practice as well.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely very fast out there for sure. Wondering if he's even maybe using our sponsor setups.
Well, if he is, I'm going to tell you that's going to be a great look for TWRS. Greg Wuchinski, man, I'm saying he's doing a pretty good job of keeping the Wolves at bay. I mean, he has been out there running by He Lonesome for quite a while, and they're slowly dragging him in, but nowhere near the rate that I thought they would have.
Yeah, I definitely thought that because they are so much more in the draft here. Heitman, though, really starting to make some inroads here up to Don Avery. I think he might be trying to go for the lead sooner rather than later here. And he's also got the help from Matt DeCiani. Those guys are going to work well together. They have such a tremendous amount of respect for one another.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And racing is a team sport, man. No matter how you slice it, you try getting around this place without any help, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to be quite a challenge. So it's good to see the formation of new teams in that within the ISCA, and the best part is, it seems for the most part, all of these teams that showed up, Brian, are competitive week in and week out so far.
Yeah, that they have been here. Definitely has been some awesome racing every time we show up here into this broadcast booth on site. We always are in for a great show. That is 100%, as we have the top 6, top 7, all right there, all within a second of one another right now. I don't think we've seen the last of some awesome and action-packed racing, that's for sure. I'm hoping we get that, we scratch that green flag pit stop itch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, drivers are going to have fun getting down the speed there to slow it down for those green flag pit stops, but I think it won't be any reason that I could see that's going to prevent it from happening. Short of a meteor falling from the iRacing sky.
Yeah, that's for sure. You see Derek Heitman, he is really starting to get itchy, starting to really get that itch to try to take that lead away. He keeps looking high in 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And as we mentioned before, that's the place to try to pass. This is where you're going to get the run at, trying to run up there higher.
But don't think Avery is just going to kind of like drag him up there as well. I mean, he's going to make him work for it. And here comes Heitman now. He is definitely feeling his oats, if you will. He is plugging and poking the bear, trying to get around Avery, trying to do it down low. Good luck to you on that one.
He might be able to get it done, though. We'll have to wait and see. Going low does seem like it results in a little bit of loose conditions.
Here's that run. Here's that run he's looking for right there. Looks like with the help of Matt DeCiani, he might be able to get it done.
You got to keep in mind as well, Big Al, last time Avery was up here and won the stage, he had Jeffrey Souza in tow. And, he doesn't really have that, or he didn't have that. Now Souza, of course, has gotten back up to him, so it's going to be an EPI versus Triad duel for the, pretty much the win, the soul of the race. Of course, still have quite a bit of left to go here, 38 next time by.
Yeah, I'm not panicking at this point. I mean, we're still 15 laps away from, at least 11 laps away from green flag pit stops. So right now, I'm just going to tuck in. I'm going to save gas. I'm going to conserve tires. And I'm going to just follow the guy in front of me, Brian, because, that way I don't have to do so much work anyway.
Taking a nice cockpit camera here out of Darren Mullins here, as he's got a pretty good view of the top 5. Definitely, you think a big track like Michigan, it's not like Talladega to where you can just gas it the whole way around. You can even hear these guys lifting. And I know some teams have even been shifting this week.
But, in Heitman, he did have to risk a whole lot of biscuits to get up to where he's at. And so now we're going to sit and slowly watch to see what kind of adverse effect that has on his tires. Will it cause his tires to wear prematurely? Is he going to be able to kind of stay out there and run the pace that he's running? Because he is running a pretty blistering pace right now.
And if you watch every time these guys come through the corner, I mean, this is such a good view watching from Darren Mullins here. He's showing, Souza when he comes out of the corner, even Darren Mullins when he comes out of the corner. They're all getting loose. They're having to pedal these things.
That's Michigan, baby. And I think that's one of the reasons why we love this track so much, especially the legacy version. It's a driver's track. You just can't come out here and just run this thing throttle down like you can at, say, Talladega or Daytona. You got to come out here and you got to drive the track. You got to drive the track conditions. Right now, those track conditions, though, have found their way crept all the way up to 101 degrees, even though that wind's still sitting there out of the west at 8 miles an hour. The track has definitely gotten a little bit warmer, and that's probably going to attest to a little bit of the premature tire wear as well, Brian.
100%, and we talked about it earlier. I think in the next 10 laps, possibly even sooner, green flag pit stops are going to be taking place. Top 7 still within a second. They have not changed very much. That is for sure. All of these drivers have very, very similar pace at the moment.
Yeah, and right now they're somewhere between the Wachinski-Jacob sandwich, because that's what they've been, and that's the story that hasn't changed. Greg Wachinski has been out in front of this thing, getting chased by the leaders, man, and they hadn't been able to reel him in. If he can hold them off until green flag pit stops, that might be in his favor, and that's only about 7 laps away.
Tell you what Greg Wachinski needs right now is a caution, because he would be able to get the lucky dog and be back on the lead lap.
What? I'm out of here, man. Why did you have to say that, dude? I'm telling Kenny, dude, that's crap.
I'm just saying that's what he wants. I guarantee you Greg wants a caution.
Yeah, but then you said it again.
Oh my word.
This is rigged. Yeah, but nobody wants to see that. Because right now, man, you even got a potential that somebody could be back there playing the spoiler. Somebody could be back there saving. I mean, really saving. Do you understand what I'm saying? And just push that thing.
You can't make it to the end.
That's not what I'm saying. But if you're consistently fast, you know that the guys up front are going to fall off. But if you're back there and say you can run it maybe and make it 30, 35 laps, I mean, you'll be able to pretty much run away from it with it, at that point.
Well, looking at lap times right now, the top 7 are pretty much the quickest on the track right now. Now, if Kenny Powell could be trying to save, Al Kozlowski could also be trying to save maybe J.C. Evans. Here comes Don Avery, though. 3 wide for the lead.
That is crazy. Heitman now way up top. Avery bending it through the middle of the turn, making it stick. Souza down low doing the same. Hopefully Souza will be able to get the drive off that he needs out of the 2.
What an awesome race so far. Still not settled out quite yet as Souza and DeCiani battling it out for that second place position. And look at the speed that Darren Mullins has showed here tonight. I mean, he has been, I'd say, better than his son, which has not been really the case, you know, from history we've seen so far.
No, I thought Darren was the son. Randy's the dad.
No, Darren is the father.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, we've seen Darren, a lot of times he struggles. But not this week. He's looking really good. I'll tell you that right now. Top 5 machine. Might even be able to win this thing. But Don Avery starting to pull away. He's got about a 6/10 of a second. I can't talk. A 6/10 of a second lead right now. But look at Jeffrey Souza getting a big run up to the back end of the one of DeCiani. I think Mullins is starting to, or not Mullins, Derek Heitman is starting to struggle. I think Heitman is starting to have some problems right now.
Well, Heitman, I mean, he pretty much cooked steaks on his tires. I mean, he seared them, you know, and that's really, and we saw that. We saw what happened when Keselowski did the same thing.
Yeah, and we're in that point of the run that it's just like the stages. I mean, we're at that point now that they're going to start feeling that.
Yep, Matt DeCiani's making his way down on the inside. He's going to bring Jeffrey Souza. So now Heitman has to be really careful here now because if he does get a little bit too risque, if you will, he might find himself, you know, losing it and smacking the wall.
Could very well happen, of course. And he also doesn't want to try to endanger his teammate, Matt DeCiani.
But look at Don Avery. He is reeling in Greg Wyszynski like he's a catfish.
He very much is, but still, like you said, we got to definitely take our hats off to the fact that Greg Wyszynski still able to hold this lap. Derek Heitman getting really loose here as he's still side by side with Jeffrey Souza. Souza trying to side draft a tiny bit there, maybe possibly to dump a little bit of air on his spoiler to hurt that car's handling. Greg Carr making a huge run right now. These guys are racing hard right now, trying to get every spot they can as green flag pit stops are on the horizon. And I think it's going to be pretty soon.
Yeah, we're 2 laps out of the window. I mean, they could pit now and still make it to the end. I think everybody's objective, though, is going to be to kind of split the stage in the middle. So I think you should be looking for sometime around 25 to go is when the majority of the field should actually be coming down the pit. The 27, though, Derek Jacobs, he's going to open that green flag pit window for us as he is now down on the pit road.
3 wide right now for the 4th place position. Aaron Mullins desperate to try to take that spot away and enter that 4th place. Also, Greg Carr putting a lot of pressure on these guys as well. These guys are battling so hard.
2 more drivers down on pit road. Looks like the 54. Randy Mullins is going to be down.
Also, I do believe the 9 of J.C. Evans also making his way in.
So, yeah, green flag pit stops have started. It's right dead in the middle of the run. Still 73 laps to go.
And unfortunately, Greg Wyszynski has gone another lap down here, but he has gotten now the draft, I'd say, from Don Avery. So if he just sticks with Avery, I mean, he's even battling to try to see if he can't get that lap back as we speak.
Said 73 laps to go. Sorry about that. Lap 74, so we got 25 laps to go here.
They are still battling right now for now what is the 3rd position as Derek Heitman has fallen all the way back to 6th place. Darren Mullins, he's in the 3rd right now. I'm telling you, I am just super impressed with what this 64 has managed to accomplish here tonight. Greg Carr as well, now up in 4th place as Souza brings it down. Don Avery also down pit road, along with Derek Heitman.
Andrew Layton, Wes Dobbs.
Yep, 75. I think we called it, didn't we, Big Al?
Well, I mean, Avery told us when he was coming in.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely gave his strategy away. Matt DeCiano electing to stay out a little bit longer here. I wonder if he's going to come this time.
Well, I'm wondering if anybody's going to try to stay out longer.
It could be. Maybe to try to see if a caution will come out late.
Or just have a shorter run.
Here comes Darren Mullins down pit road. A little bit of wiggle on entry, but looks like he got it down to speed.
So you still got DeCiani, Carr, Powell, and Keselowski that have yet to pit, along with Wachinski and Schaffner.
Al Keselowski's having some major handling woes right now, as he is followed right behind by Josh Schaffner. Of course, Schaffner 20 laps down right now.
I believe Keselowski is probably going to be getting ready to pit here.
Does not appear to be so. Looks like he's going to be staying out one more time here.
Powell,
looks like Powell and Schaffner both coming down.
So that's just going to leave Carr and Keselowski that are still out along with Wachinski.
And this might be the first laps that Greg Carr has ever led in the ISCA.
Well, it don't matter how you do it as long as you get it done, right?
Yeah, I mean, they can't take those laps led away from you.
But that's a good call, man, and I applaud those efforts of both Carr and Keselowski for actually staying out there running it just a little bit longer, you know. And I thought that's what they were trying to do, just to give them that shorter run, faster speed as Carr's bringing down pit road now. Keselowski is going to be your new leader.
That he is. Of course, I do believe who kind of holds what is going to be the lead is Don Avery at the moment. He has definitely shown substantial pace here so far. They gave him a very good triad machine. I think he's even driving it better than Jeffrey Souza. But we know about how those triad guys do it, though, Big Al. I mean, they kind of tailor-make each setup for each one of their teammates. We've heard that more than once, those guys talking about how they kind of work on those cars together.
And Keselowski down pit road, and you're absolutely right. And that's got to make you feel pretty good when somebody's tailor-making your setup to you. But Keselowski now doing what he has got to do. He's down pit road, which means everybody cycle through. The only exception right now is going to be Greg Wachinski in the 5. Right now he's going to have 30 laps on his run at the line.
What a fantastic showing right now, though. I do believe Don Avery, like you said, getting ready to take the lead here.
And Avery has to feel pretty dang good about his performance.
Well, no, never mind. Derek Heitman is just taking the lead.
But Avery has to feel pretty good about his showing here tonight. I mean, if he can just kind of keep it going and close the deal. He's had a lot of seconds, Brian.
That he has.
But I think tonight, he might be holding his mouth right for a W.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he could easily get a trophy here tonight. Just considering, I mean, trends, Derek Heitman in that last run started struggling very much so. And I don't know. I mean, I think Avery is going to eventually catch him back up, catch back up.
Ooh, that got a lot hairy right there as Greg Wachinski, I do believe, found himself right up in the middle of some treachery there. Powell, Schaffner, and Dobbs were coming by. Well, that would be right, because Wachinski's got 31 laps on his tires right now.
Yeah, he's now only just 1 lap down, so still has yet to bring it down pit road. Field starting to spread out a little bit here. Derek Heitman, of course, has about a 6/10 lead right now over Don Avery. Of course, Avery has about 3 seconds on Jeffrey Souza. But that's kind of where the gaps start to go away, or at least for the 3rd, 4th, 5th positions here, considering, I should say 4th, 5th, and 6th, considering Mark Sanchez, Darren Mullins, and Matt DeCiani are all right on top of each other. And here comes Mullins to try to see if he can't take that 4th place away.
Yeah, he's going to put it right down there on the inside of Sanchez. But I just want to say this, man. Hopefully Heitman is running and he's cognizant of his lap times, because so far every time he got out front tonight, I felt that he kind of didn't really pace himself, and so he outraced himself. So when it came down to it, he was a little bit short on tire. Now Avery he is precise as a chemist here tonight. I mean, the way he is putting his laps in and he's putting this run together, it's nothing short of scientific. If Heitman can maintain and be cognizant of that, he might have a shot at it. Other than that, I think Avery just wears him down. Greg
I think he's doing it right now.
Yeah, Greg Wychinski now down on pit road, and that means everybody would have cycled through, and this thing should stay green all the way to the end, Brian.
Yeah, I think Don Avery's doing exactly what you just mentioned right now, as he is starting to whittle that lead down. Of course, we mentioned about dirty air. The closer and closer that Avery gets, the worse that car is going to start handling. But I think that he's been able to kind of overcome that thus far here tonight. And you were talking about, is Heitman aware of his lap times? Well, I mean, I know the last few laps he's been one of the fastest cars on the track. That might not be a good thing.
And that's what I'm saying. When he gets out front, sometimes it seems like he doesn't have the ability to kind of to show the restraint that he's going to need for longevity. Jeffrey Souza, though, just a little bit ago, literally, he just tagged the wall as well. And those wall tags they do add up as well.
That they do. And, of course, now he's going to be under fire by Darren Mullins, who I think in his future could possibly have a 3rd-place finish here tonight. It is wholly possible. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, DeCiani is going to have something to say about that.
And DeCiani's doing the same. I mean, right now it's chess, not checkers. You just got to slow your roll and run your race, because it's not going to do you any good if you go out there and run at somebody else's pace, Brian.
100%. That is a lesson that a lot of iRacers could definitely learn. That's for sure. I mean, I haven't even learned it myself. I mean, on paper, it sounds all well and good, but when you're actually out there behind the wheel, it's a lot harder to, kind of manage your aggression level and how much tire you're using.
Oh, yeah, I totally get it. I mean, it is what it is, but you find out, though, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And once you just, when you quit chasing yourself and just relax and just do it, you're going to be a lot faster.
Speaking of fast here comes Don Avery. Derek Heitman tagging the outside wall just a hair there, as now we have 15 laps to go. Heitman tries to go down to the bottom to see if he can't take away some of the momentum from this 11 machine, but I don't think there's anything he can really do about this.
Don Avery definitely got her dialed in right there in the middle. That is that signature line that we've seen him run the majority of the evening here. And the beauty of it is when so many other brushes run out of ink or paint, he's still right there painting that same brush stroke right down the middle.
Yeah, very consistent. And you have to be that at this track. I mean, it's such a big track, and a lot of people think that and a lot of people think that you can, run everywhere on this place and not, burn your tires up. But it's such you have to be really precise. And I think that's what we were talking about with Matt DeCiani earlier in his interview for Stage 1. I mean, he talked about it. He said this is a one-groove track. Now, technically it's not just a one-groove track, but the reason he probably said that was because there's one groove that's good at saving tire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, we do see the battle for third still pretty hot right now, as Darren Mullins has Matt DeCiani sitting right behind him, hungry for some points here.
And Jeffrey Souza is also back there in the mix.
DeCiani getting a big run up to the back bumper, as we're verging on now 12 laps to go.
And Don Avery's got to be feeling pretty good, man. I mean, those guys did bring a rocket ship here tonight, like you said. Started all the way back in 8th place, but he moved up, really getting up front. He was the first other leader that we had, with the exception of Matt DeCiani. And if you remember, DeCiani all but dominated that entire first stage. Avery, probably what's going to mar this run for him, like he said, was, the contact that he made with Josh Schaffner. But Schaffner is a professional, so I don't really see an infield brawl taking place as a result of that.
Yeah, we definitely hope not. I don't know, man. He's I do believe a corn farmer. He's a big old boy. These are them corn farmers. They probably want to fight. I mean, I wouldn't want to have to race in the corn farming area. Was Clint Boyer? He was always wanting to fight.
He makes corn, and corn makes whiskey. And whiskey makes my baby a little bit frisky.
There it is. We can't have a ISCA broadcast without having a little bit of Big Al karaoke.
Karaoke. That's right.
Well, look at Don Avery go. 1.2 seconds now is his lead. He is pulling away and still has a little bit of over 10 laps to go, but I don't think anything's much going to change here. I mean, Avery has been just a force to be reckoned with here tonight.
You really got to hope that everybody else is doing exactly what they need to do. Everybody stays in line, and that nobody kind of steps out sideways and loses it and brings out a caution. That's the one thing that I don't think you want to see at this point. With us just having 11 laps to go, then that's going to automatically put Avery at a disadvantage were that to happen, because, he would actually probably have to stop, I think. Because everybody else behind him would. I mean, that's just the way it is. 10 laps to go.
Yep, Don Avery still in the lead. Derek Heitman, of course, second place. Matt DeCiani in third. Fourth place, Jeffrey Souza. Fifth, Darren Mullins. Sixth, Mark Sanchez. Seventh, Greg Carr. Eighth place, Randy Mullins. Definitely has had a significant recovery here after a strong start to the race. Ninth place, Andrew Layton. 10th, Kenny Powell. Kenny Powell just recently entering back up into the top 10.
Kozlowski's going to be in the 11th with J.C. Evans, who's been kind of in and out of the top 5 here most of the night, though, all the way back at 12th. Wes Dobbs, another driver that I thought we were going to see tremendous pace from, is all the way back at 13th. Derek Jacobs, 14th. Greg Wachinski, 1 lap down in 15th. And old Josh Schaffner, 20 laps down in 16th.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of guys still doing pretty well here. We just saw Kenny Powell actually make a pass on Andrew Layton to take over 9th place. Now he's going to be trying to work his way up to Randy Mullins. Also, Al Kozlowski moves up into the top 10. Of course, Kozlowski has been struggling a little bit on the longer runs, but I think he might have gotten it somewhat worked out here.
Well, you remember, he did run one of the longest runs out there, which meant that not only did he figure it out, but now he doesn't have to. So now he can kind of drive a little bit faster toward the end of this thing, and not put himself in the same predicament that he had kind of did previously in the race.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think about that, Big Al. I mean, I appreciate you raising that, just considering of the fact, I think he was the last, if not, one of the last, if not the last.
Wachinski.
Well, yeah, of course, but Al Kozlowski still on the lead lap. I mean, him having the newer tires, this is helping him out substantially. Of course, Virgin here, I do believe, on 7 laps to go here. Al Kozlowski trying to catch up here to Kenny Powell, see if he can't move up even another position. Of course, they are closing in quite quickly on Randy Mullins.
And I think Kozlowski's going to have the speed and pace to capture both of these two guys, because his tires are some 5 laps faster, Brian. And we know that 5 laps makes a huge difference on a track like Michigan.
Also, this just in, Derek Heitman back in 5th place now. Matt DeCiani has taken over 2nd and is starting to chase down Mr. Avery. But he still has about 1.4 seconds to go. And look at that, Kenny Powell getting a paper's edge within touching the 54 of Randy Mullins. Al Kozlowski also able to make it by.
Now, Kozlowski is probably going to be setting up Powell to go around high. He'll show low, kind of see if Powell's going to throttle back to cut him off, and then he'll probably swing by on the high side.
100%. These guys are definitely going to be out for each other's positions here, just because even though they're teammates, they're still going to be battling hard. We know that there's a healthy amount of competition between these D&D drivers.
Points are points at this point.
100%. Don Avery now 1.2 in front of Matt DeCiani. DeCiani has picked up a couple tenths that last time by. Not out of the realm of possibility that DeCiani catches up, and Souza has really made an effort here. We saw Souza, of course.
Oh! Who is this? Is way off the pace here. Looks like that is going to be Keselowski. Not sure what just happened, but he really kind of lost it. He's going to relinquish a position all the way back to Mullins again.
Oh, contact with the wall. He's going to slide right down in front of Andrew Layton.
Contact with Wachinski, contact with the wall, contact with Andrew Layton. 5 laps to go.
I guess they told him, they said hit everything, you hit everything before the pace car, about the pace car.
Playing a little pickleball there at the end of this thing.
Yeah, definitely some issues there. Of course, Greg Wachinski not for position.
Yeah, but he still got the effect of the, the like, oh my God, what the hell? Full effect, even if you're not on the same lap.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Keselowski, loose. Coming out of the turn, Al is really pedaling this thing. He is having a hard time keeping her going, Brian.
He very much is, and surprising to see that, just considering he is on the newer laps.
And we were just talking about that. Yeah, we were just talking about that. 3 laps to go. Don Avery doing everything he needs to do up in the wheelhouse to make this thing happen.
About a second now separates him and Matt DeCiani. DeCiani is starting to close in. I don't know if he's going to have enough time.
Yeah, is it going to be too little, too late is what I'm wondering, because Avery, I think, he knows what he has to do. And I think at this point, you just keep doing what you got to do, and you don't look back. You finish this thing, you finish strong. 100%. Stretching it out just a little bit. Looks like he is going to be able to maintain.
And he could have been saving himself. I mean, a lot of times when you're out here in the lead, you got a second or more, you kind of back it down. Let these guys catch up to you a little bit. Save a little bit of tire.
2 to go. If we make it through here, the next flag will end it.
That is correct. Of course, this stage has gone green the entire way. Of course, we did see a caution based on an accident a little bit earlier in the event, but definitely this stage itself has gone completely green.
Yeah, this is not the time that you want to see anybody taking any unnecessary risk. You just want everybody to just kind of drive smart.
100%. As we see Greg Carr, fantastic. I just gotta really take my hat off for Greg Carr, because we haven't seen this level of performance from this 25, I don't believe.
No. And a top 5 is a solid performance in the ISCA any day.
100%.
And remember, this isn't Talladega, so it's not like he just came out here and just kind of like, this is a legitimate driver's track. And Don Avery is leading those drivers around, and if he does so just 2 more turns, Brian, I think he might be able to put that W in the book.
Yeah, I think he's got it here. No chance at all for anybody else, but Matt DeCiani and Jeffrey Souza still trying to settle it out here, and it looks like DeCiani is going to maintain and take over second there. Of course, Jeffrey Souza is going to finish in 3rd. Darren Mullins going to finish in 4th. Greg Carr, who we were just talking about, finishes in 5th. Derek Heitman in 6th. Mark Sanchez in 7th. 8th place, Kenny Powell. 9th place, Randy Mullins. And 10th, Al Keselowski.
Yep, and that's going to put Andrew Layton in the 11th with J.C. Evans all the way back in 12th. Wes Dobbs in 13th. Derek Jacobs 1 lap down in 14th. Greg Wachinski 2 laps down in 15th. Josh Schaffner 22 laps down rounds out this 16-car field.
And with that, we'll go ahead and take our step away here, pay a little bit more attention to our sponsors. We'll be right back with the ISCA post-race show.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
Or there, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so talking, bro. We get a hug, right? What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
All righty, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we have our top three here. Going to be joining us up in the booth, Jeffrey Souza, our third place finisher. Jeffrey, I mean, Triad looked really, really good here tonight. I mean, you almost even had second taken away. That would have made a Triad 1-2. How you feeling? Are you disappointed at all?
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I think I gave some time up there on that green flag pit stop. Possibly if I could have stayed with Derek or Don or both of them, might have had a chance at the win. But top three at a track that I'm usually not that good at, I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely seemed like you guys had a really good car here tonight. I mean, what was the efforts that you put in to try to avoid burning the tires up?
Yeah, luckily this is the first real week, I should say, that I've had my new rake set up, and for the first time, as many might not understand, because of I run towards the front, and this is unheard of, basically. First week that I've actually had force feedback. So that has been by itself an amazing advantage to helping me save tires based on practice we had done earlier in the week. I was in the low 80s on one setup, and the same setup with the force feedback, I was almost in the high 80s. So definitely worth a few percent with that now, actually feeling the tires and knowing what they want to do. So and there's been a lot of help from the team too to help teach me where I need to get back in the throttle and how much I need to.
Well, it definitely seems like it's working out for you for sure. Definitely a fantastic showing from you here tonight. I do believe you started a little bit further back. I mean, in 15th, I think that might make you our biggest mover, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, it seemed like whatever you've been doing, whatever wheel you've just upgraded to, seems like it's really working out for you. So, congratulations on the third place. Could have even made it better with a second, but still, definitely a great job. Nonetheless, I mean, great performance. How are you feeling about the next track on the schedule? My brain is aloof at the moment. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Kenny Powell, could you maybe interject and tell us where we're going? Rockingham. I thought we were going to Rockingham. I just was not quite sure. How are you feeling about Rockingham, Jeffrey?
I think last time we went to Rockingham, at least in ISCA, I did not have a great race. It was very messy, but we went there in another league during the summer in place of one of the races, and I think it was after the last update, so we should have a pretty solid starting spot for that track. And last time we were there, it's another one of those tracks that, you don't have to be the fastest for the first, 20 laps of the run. If you can be just decent and save your tires in the long run, it really benefits you. So that's going to be the goal. And, the last few tracks have been like that. Take care of your stuff first 15, 20, and then jet away from people. So that'll be the goal at Rockingham as well.
Yeah, it definitely seems like you guys got the frame of mind and strategy kind of all down even already. And we expect you guys to definitely be up front. So we hopefully will talk to you some more next week for sure, man. Well, who can we give a shout out to after this third place finish?
Yeah, it's Susan Media every week helping out Sten Analyzer. As I say every time, if you don't use the program, download it, use it. Extremely helpful to measure out where you are speed-wise compared to other people. And then everyone over at Triad that's put all work in this week, Carl Dotson, Jeff Barnes, Tom Sohara, and obviously Don and Mark and everybody over there that have put all the time in to get these things where they need to be. And, we were a little bit off early in the week, but I think we've gotten to a point where, other than towards Coat guys, I think we're pretty high up there on the board. So, and thanks to you guys for putting all this together, obviously, every week.
100%. Well, man, definitely congratulations. You definitely guys seem like you had a tremendous amount of speed this week. Can't wait to see what the rest of the week holds for you. Good luck to you if you guys do some more official racing. And congratulations once again. We'll talk to you maybe next week.
10-4. I'm looking to talk to you guys tomorrow in the LTAC race. So
there you go. Yep. I think that's Nashville Super Speedway.
Yes, sir. I'll be there tomorrow. So I'll talk to you guys hopefully tomorrow.
100%. Well, thanks for your time, Jeffrey.
Take care.
Alrighty, that was Jeffrey Sousa, our third place finisher. Definitely a fantastic job here tonight. I do believe started 15th, moved up all the way into third to be able to talk to me here. But next up, Matt DeCiani gets to talk to Big Al, our second place finisher.
Matt DeCiani, Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
So I guess congratulations first off on not only your second place overall finish, but also for winning stage one. Now, at the end of stage one, you kind of said that the key to it all was kind of dominating in track position. What happened after that?
Yeah, I kind of got behind, and I mean, I wasn't going to try to burn them up, get back to the front, so I was just running there for a while. But yeah, I lost track position. But honestly, I felt like I had a good shot to win this race. I just screwed up the pit strategy, and those 2 laps, in my opinion, were at least cost my shot at the win. I don't know if I would have got it, but it would have been interesting because I wouldn't have had to make up a 5-second gap that I lost in those 2 laps. But yeah, whatever. How you live and you learn. But yeah, it was overall a fun race there, racing Jeffrey at the end. But yeah, wish I would have played the strategy a little better.
Yeah. So what would you have done different, you think, as far as your strategy goes, in order to say give you a better shot at winning this thing?
I probably should have came 3 laps earlier when I talked about it, and then I was catching the leader, and yeah, I kind of got distracted. But yeah, I mean, I saw him pull off. I should have pitted the next lap, and yeah, I don't know. Just should have paid better attention.
Well, definitely a solid week here, a solid performance tonight. Did you have a good week here overall, though, at this track so far?
I've run very well this week. The finishes have not added up, unfortunately. But yeah, I ran really well Monday, Tuesday night SOFs, but got taken out late in both those races. So, but we've had speed this week. Just it's all about keeping those tires heat down and everything like that. Just not burning them up early, and it's really, really easy to do, especially in the first 10 laps of every run.
Yeah, well, man, I'm telling you, congratulations. You started this thing on the pole. At the end of stage one, it looked like you were going to be the car to beat. You did lead 32 laps in this, but just didn't lead the last one. So next week, we're headed to, I believe it's going to be The Rock. Just dusting this one off, the 2-miler. What do you think, and what are you going to be focusing on as you get ready to prepare for Rockingham?
Yeah, same story, different track. Can be huge on tires. I would expect it. At least it should be. Rockingham typically eats the hell out of tires, so it's a pretty fast track. There's a lot of heavy braking, so it's a fun track for sure. So it'll be a good week.
Roger, can't wait to see you down there, man, having fun, because that makes it fun for us to call. Before we let you go, who you shouting out this week after your second place finish?
Yeah, thanks to you guys in the booth. Congrats to Jeffrey and Don. They were fast this week. Thought I had something for them, but they were really good. So that's always fun to have that competition. Yeah, thanks to EPI as always. We put out great sets. So then shout out to Michael Conti. I ran probably 150 laps with him over the weekend, just running, and learned a lot, and that was invaluable stuff. But yeah, huge shout out to him.
All right, boss. You have a good evening. Don't party too hard, and we'll see you next week at the Rock.
All right, thanks, guys.
Alrighty, that was Matt DeCiani, our Stage 1 winner and second place finisher here tonight. Definitely a good collection of points. Going to be going paid to that one machine. Of course, those guys had a really good car here tonight. First place, though, next up, Don Avery. Mr. Avery winning Stage 2 and the race, getting a lot of points, leading 50 laps. Sherry's got to be mighty proud right now.
Yeah, she sent me a congratulations already. Yeah, it was a good finish. Again, I just hate what happened between me and Josh, and my biggest apologies to him. Yeah, it was a good finish.
That it was for sure. Awesome performance there for you. Able to really put gaps on people when a lot of other people weren't able to really do that, and you were able to maintain and kind of pull away. What was the strategy? I mean, how much was tire saving involved?
I was burning up the right front more than anything else, and I was struggling to try not to do that. I started later in the runs, just trying to hold off, an extra quarter second on the throttle through the center of the corners, trying to save that right front some. Other than that, it was just, run, not overdrive the car, but run it pretty hard, and it worked out.
That it did. Of course, Big Al even said earlier that, we see Don Avery. Of course, you've won races, but, most of the time it's second. Now you're back up in first. I mean, how much does this help your confidence?
Yeah, it helps a lot. We were always trying to put out fast setups. I know, the other teams and ISCA also do, and so it's a battle between all of us, trying to put out the best setups we can and adjust them through the week, and hopefully, figure out how to keep momentum through the entire stint. And it's a challenge for everyone. So, it feels pretty good to come out ahead on that this week.
Well, you definitely did that for sure, man. How do you feel about Rockingham going to be coming up next week? Going to take a lot of the same kind of strategies that this place does, even though Rockingham a smaller track, still going to have to save quite a bit of tire there. Do you think you're going to be successful at that?
Yeah, after we get the car up off the ground about 7 feet, so it's not running through all the bumps there, should be pretty good. I used to go there, watch a lot of races back when Dale Earnhardt was running. Yeah, I'm showing my age. I spent a lot of time at that track in person. So, I enjoy the track. I hope it gets back on the circuit. And I think we'll be okay. We'll put in some practice and get the setup where it needs to be. And, we'll see what happens next week, how we finish.
We definitely look forward to it. Definitely a strong finish for Triad here tonight. So, I mean, definitely sending a message, I'd say, to a lot of people here tonight, first and third. I mean, does that give you any, amount of pride?
Oh, of course it does. I know Jeffrey was trying to get second. That would have been nice to have first, second, but first and third was good. It shows that the setups are working, and the hard work that we put in during the week is paying off.
100%, man. Well, thanks for your time for sure. Shout out to Sherry. I know you're going to shout out to her as well. Who do you want to shout out, though, after this big win at the TeamWatsonRacing.com 200?
First of all, Sherry said to tell you two hello.
Hello.
Hey, Sherry.
So I'm going to shout out to Triad, as usual. Stint Analyzer. If you guys aren't using Stint Analyzer, it's a free program, at least for now. And it'll show you where you're off some to to everybody that's running out in the practice with you or even in the race. So I'd use that. Jeff Barnes, I used his the setup he worked on a lot this week. I did a few things here for the ISCA race, but most of it was him, and he put in a lot of laps this week. So did Thomas O'Hare and Carl Dodson. They did too. So I want to shout out to those guys. Sousa Media for sponsoring Triad. You guys up in the booth. Shout out to my wife and to Kenny and ISCA for putting all this on. It's he does a good job on it, so it's great.
All right, man. Well, definitely thanks for your time, and look forward to seeing you next week at Rockingham for sure. And, man, can't wait to see you. I think we're going to see a whole lot more of you up in here in Victory Lane.
I hope so. And shout out to Matt and Jeff for having good finishes there. I know Matt was trying to close in on me there, and I thought he was going to get me, but it just didn't work out for him. But, yeah, shout out to those guys.
All righty. Well, thanks for your time, and you have yourself a great night, Don.
Thanks, guys.
That was Don Avery, our first place finisher and winner, of course, of tonight's race. What a fantastic performance for sure. What a fantastic performance for a lot of different drivers. I mean, I know we talked about the top three. Got to give a big shout out to Darren Mullins, finishing in fourth. Greg Carr finishing fifth. I mean, fantastic job for him. I think that might be his first top five in the ISCA, so definitely deserves a nice clap on the back for that performance. Wouldn't you say, Big Al?
Shout out to Mark Sanchez getting it done, man. Right there, I mean, in seventh place, that's pretty good for him. Keselowski with a top 10. Yeah, a lot of guys ran hard. It was an awesome race, Brian, and I think it's just going to be just a little bit more of a precursor just to let us know what we got coming up in the future. And I can't wait, because as the teams continue to progress and the drivers get better, it just makes the level of competition so much greater. And hopefully you'll follow suit and get us a better production.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for watching here this evening. Make sure you tune in on Saturday, of course, same time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A little bit after that is when the green flag will be waving, as we'll be right back here at Legacy, Michigan on Saturday. So make sure you tune right on in. And, of course, continuing this series, next Thursday we'll be at Rockingham at the same time I just mentioned before. And can't wait to see what that looks like. The Rock, definitely excited. I echo the same things that Avery was saying about bringing that legendary track, back to the NASCAR circuit, and I think that it might be in the works, or at least have some late model races there or something like that. Would be interesting to see for sure. But thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time.